here to make a new type of news.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Making news just for you. It's July 26th here in Seoul. I'm Shin Yoon, and this is News Generation, where we make the news at Arirang's very own open studio. Every morning, we'll discuss the top issues and latest current affairs affecting people in their 20s and 30s. Joining me in the studio is Kim Seong.
Good morning, Yoon.
Good morning, and Park Ki-hoon.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Now, both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. As usual, let's start with our news feed, which covers different hashtags and news items that have been trending on social media over the past 24 hours. Now, the British newspaper, The Times, has broken the hearts of many with the story of a dead Russian soldier. He used to be a construction worker and was a father to a 2-year-old son, but he was suddenly drafted last September to fight on the front line in Ukraine's Zaporizhia region. His diary was later discovered, and the post dated back to last December. There he wrote things like, "I don't want to kill anyone, and I love you and Rusik very, very much and can't wait to see you. I want to have 2 more kids. Please wait for me." Moving on to our second story. A group of economists at Harvard University released the results from their latest study on Monday that found elite colleges gave preferences to students from higher income households. That is when they have to choose between students with the same test scores. The analysis quantified for the first time whether being rich could stand as a qualification for college admissions. The economists referred to federal records of college attendance and parental income taxes for nearly all college students from 1999 to 2015. And our last story has to do with living longer. Have you ever wanted to add a few extra years to your life? Well, an observational study presented on Monday at the American Society for Nutrition found 8 healthy habits that could add up to 24 more years to your life. They're keeping yourself physically active, not getting addicted to opioids or smoking, managing stress, having a good diet and good sleep hygiene, and not regularly binge drinking. And last but not least, having positive social relationships. Now, researchers postulated these 8 habits by examining data on more than 700,000 US veterans. They found that men with all of those 8 habits at age 40 could live 24 years longer on average, and women were found to live an extra 21 years. And to be very honest with you, these habits aren't that groundbreaking. It's easier said than done, though, don't you think, Yoon?
All right, just like you said, some of these facts are things that even kids know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, pretty basic. Yeah.
sadly, good habits are harder to pick up than bad ones.
Yeah.
So that's just human nature. But one fact we know for sure is that humans are living much longer in general. On average,
Yeah.
compared to the past, due to technology and of course these doctors who study longevity of human lives. But this doesn't really correlate to the overall well-being and happiness compared to how long you live. And another fact is that no matter how old you are, nobody wants to die,
Yeah.
and they fear death even though it's inevitable. So, I would love to live 20 more years, except. Even if I do, I want to live a very healthy lifestyle. And of course, one thing I have out of the 8 lists that you mentioned is positive social relationships.
That is!
Having good friends. Like you two.
Oh, I was just about to say, away from us too.
Well,
As soon as you
No.
well,
get
now
off
we're
work.
friends.
Hopefully we are one of the
On air we're friends.
Now, moving on, another aspect to this story is that people are saying it's easier said than done because that means you can't really go out drinking, smoke, or have fun with friends to the extent that you don't have any sleep. And they're saying, is that worth that extra few years? What do you think about that?
Yeah, for me, more than definitely, I'd love to have every single extra year added to my life. I want to see how the world changes
Really?
in the future. That's, I think, one of the main reasons of my, survival, of living, basically, to see how the world changes, to see how we get by. And definitely the study also said by Xuan Mei, Nung Yen at the VA Boston healthcare system grabbed international attention, and it does seem to give us some time, even if you can't afford to start all the good habits right now. So, for example, the study says starting these habits at age 50 instead of right now is not a problem. You could prolong your life up to 21 years, even when you start at 50. And if you start at 60, you'll still nearly gain about 18 years if you adopt all 8 of the healthy habits. So I do try to stick to these seemingly obvious and sensible health habits, but with my current lifestyle of grinding through multiple occupations all at the same time, lack of sleep, I think, is the worst habit I have right now. I want to sleep a little more, maybe change that habit and reduce my chance of death by 18%, as the research says.
No, I think this news story was a little funny to me because it really captures human psychology. We always want to see, we want to have control over our lives to the extent that we want to know how many years we have more, and we want to control that by trying to adapt these healthy habits. But then there's also a side where we're like, I don't know, I don't care. I just want to play and enjoy the time.
Exactly.
YOLO, you know, we only live once.
Exactly.
Might as well enjoy it. Yeah.
And that was our news feed for this Wednesday. Let's now move on to our discussion topic. South Korea is well known for its beauty and skincare products, and that's why foreign outlets even say Koreans have been leading the beauty market. What's interesting is that this trend is also being driven by men. To find out more, take a look at the screen.
Are Korean men just born that pretty? What's their beauty secret? A survey by Global Data found that 3/4 of South Korean men groom themselves by regularly getting hair treatments or taking care of their skin at least once a week. We've also seen men's cosmetics brands boom. A popular health and beauty chain, Olive Young, saw a 46% increase in male cosmetic sales this May. So it's no doubt South Korean men are becoming the world's biggest spenders on skincare.
Whether it's through makeup or regularly going to a skin clinic, a growing number of young Korean men seem to be into beauty products. Just take a look at Seong today. Seong had his own beauty day.
Oh
How do
my
you
God.
feel?
Look at me and look at you.
How do you feel, Seong?
Was that a Blackpink lyric, maybe?
Yeah, it was.
Look
it
at
was.
you.
I feel great. I
at
tried
yourself.
the K-pop idol makeup just for today. I've heard BTS J-Hope and Jin have left for their military service, freeing up a spot for me. So here I come, armies.
Hopefully,
Wow.
Seong will have his own army of fans soon.
Or he would
Hopefully.
just have to go back to the army, the
Back to conscription.
real army.
You know, really straighten me out.
Right, but Seong, you've actually gone through this beauty day to sort of show how
Yeah.
much men actually put on makeup these days, right?
Yeah, I mean, according to Euromonitor, the domestic men's beauty market rose by 7% year on year, from about $1.3 billion in 2020 to about $1.4 billion in 2021, and recorded an increase up to 10% to $1.6 billion last year in 2022. So currently the men's beauty market is expanding by diversifying its lineup into foundation and lip color, as well as lip balms and things like that, as well as dedicated basic cosmetics, as we call it. According to the results of a survey on men's purchase beauty products conducted by Mezzo Media, however, men's main products still seem to stick to basic skincare products at around 57%. So mostly just for, you know, your skin and hair lotion or some nicer shampoos than your average bar of soap and things like that. And we do see an increase. We do have a consumption of about 30% about sun protection products, you know, sunscreens and, you know, whatever sunscreen creams you'd use to go outdoors and things like that. So it does seem to stay a little far from actual makeup products at the current market. So, I mean, but the market seems to be growing for basic skincare products, not particularly for makeup-related products. First of all, from a survey, we see a lot of that recently. So we did see a huge increase in the market for men's
Right,
beauty
as you
products.
mentioned, it's not only makeup products, but we're seeing more grooming products.
Oh, for
among
sure
men
as well,
being
yeah,
popular. But how do you feel? Do you feel confident with all the
I
color
feel
in your
fabulous.
eyes? That's really
I don't
nice.
know how I look. You know, I hope I look all right.
As long as you feel happy, that's
yeah,
important.
let us know in the comments if I should stick to this makeup. If you guys love it,
Yeah.
I'll put this on every single morning.
Please
every
be honest.
single
Please
show.
be honest.
Please be honest.
And be
you know.
Seong's #1 fan. And what about you, Kyun? I mean, as Seong mentioned, he did put on like full makeup on today, but I think what's more common among Korean men is that they are more interested in grooming products these days, right?
Definitely, yeah. But just by looking at Seong,
Right.
it's not just his makeup, but it's his hairstyle as well,
Yeah.
and his outfit. So grooming is not just about makeup in itself.
yeah.
It starts from the hair all the way down to
General styling, I guess,
overall
yeah.
styling. And to be honest, 10 years ago, you didn't see many men put makeup on unless they worked in the showbiz.
Yeah.
But now it's become definitely more common. Just like I see a lot of Gen Zs in the streets wear like light makeup.
Yeah.
And if I see them close up, some of them would be wearing like the smoky makeup, which, as you can see, Seong has the smoky makeup happening
Yeah,
in his
it's
eyes,
his
like the stronger
eyes.
eye lines.
Yeah.
And I think G-Dragon really started that phenomenon
He
among
did,
men
right.
when he first debuted in 2001, I think. But I see nothing wrong with men grooming because obviously they give out that clean-cut look, sophisticated, and even a
Stylish,
healthy and stylish look, which has more ups than downs.
For sure.
And finally, as the renowned fashion designer and filmmaker Tom Ford said,
Right.
fine grooming is the mark of a modern gentleman. It is a way a man presents the best version of himself to the world.
Yeah, that's really nice. We should listen to Mr. Ford right there.
We should.
Yeah.
But
for
I would
sure.
like to mention, as you mentioned, Ki-hoon, I think societally we've seen a lot of stigma towards men putting on makeup or grooming themselves have changed. Before, it was sort of frowned upon. A lot of people judged men who did that. But why do you think a lot has changed since then, Xiang?
Yeah, I mean, right now, there was a social stigma for men who wear makeup or even just dress a bit extravagantly. For example, the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley, was questioned about his sexuality due to his fondness of heavy eye makeup, which he reportedly quite enjoyed personally. So even in his free time, he would actually put it on and people would call
Right.
him fairy and stuff like that back in the days. One of my favorite artists as well, David Bowie, also shattered the conventional look and frequented heavy makeup, which became his iconic look as well. So I think personally, men wearing manicures has also picked up recently after the likes of Harry Styles, A$AP Rocky, who made it very fashionable.
Yeah, I think with more celebrities putting makeup,
Yeah.
male celebrities, it's
Yeah.
opening up the market for a lot of men who could be their fans. to
Creating
try
more
it
like
on
a
themselves.
genderless fashion trends and things like that.
Right. Would you like to add on to that?
Absolutely. Just like what Xiong mentioned, it's become very genderless. And like I said before, it's a lot of idols, K-pop idols, and of course influencers on SNS platforms, because they groom so well, starting from their hair, makeup, and outfit, it has definitely influenced the younger men, especially here in Korea.
Yeah.
So the social stigma has changed, and a lot more people are open to guys, like being very stylish, just like Xiao.
Yeah.
I keep looking at him. See,
Yeah, you keep looking at it.
It's very attractive. You get I'm looking at him in a nice way, but
Yeah.
obviously some people might frown upon other people, like, why is he wearing makeup?
There's
He's a
that-
guy.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
for me right now, he looks pretty natural.
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
I think a lot of people think that Korean men are leading this because of K-pop idols, as you both mentioned.
yeah.
But how's it like abroad?
Yeah, I mean, before we mention what the people abroad might think, I actually found a survey conducted by Open Survey targeting millennials and Gen Zs in 2020, and they only said about 9.8% said they are planning to try on makeup in the future. And the 2021 survey, it only rose to 12.8%. The rest said either that they don't know or that they're not willing to try on makeup in Korea. So it does seem like there is a positive change. Well, we can say positive or negative, but for actual makeup,
Yeah.
it seems to be a slowly trending phase at the moment, especially in Korea as well. And abroad, I would say there is more of a social stigma. I would say living in London, in Europe as well, it's very liberal, of course. People can do whatever they want, dress however they like. But there is a prevalent sense of sort of masculinity for men and feminine vibes for women. America, I'd say it's a little different. It's more open. In parts of America, of course, you might get bashed for putting on makeup, going around. And a survey by Mintel found that 42% of UK men agree that doing anything beyond making sure you're clean and hygienic is unnecessary. So we can see how, there's still kind of a bit of a stigma prevalent in Western societies.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of people associate makeup, like cosmetics, with men with sexuality, and that's the sad reality. It should be more a freedom of expression and doing
More
whatever
like a
you want.
fashion sense.
It should be a fashion sense, but we are seeing changes, but they aren't as quick as we're thinking, right?
Right. So, like in the Western culture, I think the way they perceive grooming is slightly towards like going to barbershops.
Yeah.
Taking care, not their skin, putting on makeup, but just grooming their overall kind of facial hair, the beard, the mustache.
Yeah.
mustache. So it's kind of different, but at the same time, in one sense, it's quite similar. They're just taking care of themselves, really taking care of their appearance.
Yeah.
And like I
Right.
said, if anything is like aesthetically pleasing,
Yeah,
It
do
makes you feel good,
yeah,
right?
If you want to do it, do it.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. And we asked our global viewers what they think about men who put on makeup or try to pamper themselves up. Take a look at the screen to find out what 3 of them had to say. And Mola said, I don't use makeup, but I am interested in skincare to keep it healthy. My current regime for my face is to use face wash and cream. Shadow the Hedgehog said, I'm a man from Germany and that most people here still think too old school if you're not a rock star or on TV. People always think you're gay if you use makeup or just beauty products. Some guys even say it's gay to use hand cream in the winter as a man. Leon Teo says, I do use some skincare products to take care of my skin. Personally, I have nothing against men using beauty products as guys want to look good, and it can help you gain more confidence too. There's definitely a huge market for it, and I think it will continue to increase in the next few years. And to further analyze how big the men's beauty market has become, both here in Korea and around the world, we're going to include a male stylist in our talks. We'll include him right after this. To find out more about how the men's beauty market is booming here in Korea and abroad, we're going to include a male fashion stylist. It's James Dykes. He's been working as a stylist in Seoul for 2 years now. Welcome, James.
Good morning, James.
Thank you. Welcome.
Hello.
All right, James. So my first question for you is, how'd you become a fashion stylist here in Korea? Is it because we have a big men's beauty market? Or do you think, simply put, how many men would you say are actually into makeup here in South Korea?
I would say it's definitely leading. It's the largest industry in terms of makeup. I think the biggest thing that you both, everyone put some valid points together from the previous conversations. I definitely think when we have musicians and K-pop stars being the face of makeup, I definitely think it shifts the aesthetic and the stigma around it. Like if you go into Arirang, you see all these kind of cool artists that are collaborating with these makeup brands. So it definitely feels like a little bit more approachable. As in Korea, I think is the biggest thing. Like it definitely is something that there's less of a stigma, which is what you guys were discussing previously.
Yeah, so I guess there's more products available in Korea compared to, for men's beauty. And apart from some of the reasons we've already mentioned, why do you think, one of the reasons, why do you think men are also into so many beauty and cosmetic products compared to before?
I definitely think it's kind of a combination of the offering. Like if we're going into somewhere like Arirang, the products are definitely approachable. They're kind of a lightweight alternatives. We have really good, like coming from as a foreigner, you have really great offering of like skin tints and lip blushes. And the products are really approachable if you're someone who's a little bit frightened about makeup. It's a really great place to start than say walking into a cosmetic counter at, your Chanel or, these heavy coverage kind of base brands. So it's definitely the approachability when you're coming into the industry here, I think. And I think also we talked a lot about social media, but I also think that profile pics are used for employment here in Korea also. Yeah. So it's something that, if you want to present yourself for a potential employment, you may be, feeling more confident, and it may be beneficial to you for aesthetically to have this great profile picture that you feel really confident about going into, a new person, just fresh out of, university and going to a new job. It could, make you feel great, and you may have a better interview because of your aesthetically looking better,
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely feel more confident right now with my hair and makeup, James. So, are you for or against this change in social atmosphere? What still should be done to better welcome this sort of change right now?
I definitely think that Korea, as we've all discussed, it's kind of definitely leading the industry, and the options are definitely there, but it definitely has some way to go in terms of kind of, it's socially acceptable for more grooming here and kind of just light coverage, but I definitely think that it's still very conservative in terms of more elaborate makeup. So we're really not seeing anyone walking down the street with more kind of, it's a smoky touch of an eye, but it's definitely not this really kind of fully embraced full face of makeup. We don't really see that, even with, I think, with K-pop idols. So I definitely think Korea has some way to go in terms of like fully embracing the makeup industry as a whole. But I definitely think we're getting there with these baby steps, with the artists, with the products, with the availability. So it's definitely heading in the right direction. But I think that we've still got some way to go in terms of like really embracing that. Like, it's still a little bit conservative.
I think Korean makeup, likes to stick to like a natural look as well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A little bit
Yeah.
And that's why
Yeah.
a lot of the male products out there it's not really the hot, heavy,
Show off,
shadowy
yeah, it's
makeup
more
no
of a-
more. It's more the dewy skin,
Yeah.
really groom cut. Yeah. All
Yeah,
right,
which
thank
is-
you.
Sorry.
Sorry to cut you off. Could you
No.
finish your sentence?
I was just going to say, I think that's why that it's relating back to the confidence where people are starting to buy skincare, which is leading into makeup because of the look.
For sure, yeah, the basic skin.
All right. Thank you so much, James. It was a
Thanks,
pleasure to
James.
hear from you today.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, James.
All
Bye,
right.
guys.
Bye. Now, before we end off, I'm going to ask you guys one last question. As James mentioned, we are heading in the right step in terms of welcoming more men to groom themselves and put on more makeup. How would you guys like to see society react to more men looking for beauty products, starting with you, Hyun?
Look, like I said before, whatever is aesthetically pleasing, it makes you happy, it makes others happy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a stigma where, only women put on makeup and dress up, but that's not the case anymore. We're
not.
seeing more men dressing up so well and being very presentable. And like what James said, these beauty products, like men's beauty products, cosmetics, it's become so much more approachable.
Right.
And the price is reasonable as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, we were talking about this before the show. I asked, would you prefer to see a guy with, bad skin or guy with nicer skin? And she said, obviously nicer skin. So why not, guys? If you can take care of yourself, take care of it.
Yeah. Now, where do you stand on that?
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with James as well. The variety of skin products and makeup products do make up for the likeliness of, men doing more makeup, actually venturing in to the market. And I'm all for skincare routines to make your skin last in both dermatological and cosmetological sense. I mean, Korea is a very competitive market as well for people. You got to look the best, you got to look the part.
Yeah.
As James mentioned, even at job interviews, if you don't seem like you fit the part, you might
Yeah.
not get the part.
You have to look aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, which might be a bit tiring. If I had to put this makeup on every day for a living,
You'd be very exhausted.
I'll just be exhausted.
But you
Even
might
more
become the
lack
next
of sleep.
BTS member.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a. Is that a
serve in
given,
the army
guys? Make that happen for us.
Yeah, leave comments down. He needs his army of fans.
There we go.
All right, but at the end of the day, we're trying to say that whether it be grooming yourself or putting on makeup, do whatever you want, as long as it gives you confidence, and it could be a new sense of fashion. And we'll be here every day from 9:30 to 10 a.m. Korea time, bringing you more topics young people are talking about. Special thanks to Kim Siyoung
My pleasure.
and Park Ki-hoon.
Always a pleasure.
All right, and thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. We are
New generation.